Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Route Consultant Weekly Webinar. For those of you who I have never met before, my name is Josh Gregory. I am the director of our consulting and training teams here at Route Consultant. So that means I work with both our current contractor clients, helping them find efficiencies and additional profitability for their businesses. And I also work with new investors, helping you learn about the space, bringing you resources and guidance as you're looking to get into the space for the first time. For all of our regular attendees, welcome back. Whether you are brand new to these webinars or you have been here every week for years, we still want this to be a place where you can learn, ask questions, see what's new in the industry, and have a little bit of fun too. So we will go through all of that today. Before I get into the content and kind of going over everything, I just have the quick disclaimer that I have to read every week. So Route Consultant is not endorsed by and is not recommended by Federal Express Corporation, FedEx Ground, or Amazon. Route Consultant is not sponsored by, is not approved by, is not associated with, and has no connection whatsoever with Federal Express Corporation, FedEx Ground, or Amazon. All that means is that you're not going to hear any materially non-public information on this webinar, but we do hope that you hear some helpful, some useful information, especially as we're heading into some of the big changes affecting our market in the upcoming months. Quickly, just wanted to go over a couple of the events that are coming up. First, we do have another investor summit, new investor summit next week on Monday and Tuesday. So if you have never heard one of those before, or never been to one of those before, and you're still trying to figure out if this is the right space for you, that's what this summit is designed to teach you, and really teach you as much as we possibly can, so that you can help make the right decision whether or not FedEx is the industry for you to invest in. We would much rather you spend a day or two learning rather than find out 6 months from now and $1 million later that you've made a mistake. So we want that summit to kind of help you decide that it's the right industry for you and to make a confident decision that this is the right space for you. So again, if you've never been to one before, that one next week is in Nashville, and the link should be in the chat, and you'll see that come up and you can go ahead and register for it. Also, biggest event coming up soon is the Expo at the end of July. So July 28th through the 30th, and that's back in the Paris Hotel in Vegas. So if you've never been before, this is something where contractors from across the country and multiple logistics spaces are going to come together, and we will have vendors from across the space. We're going to cover all of your food and drinks. And the event is free to attend, but we do need you to go ahead and register because hotels are nearly empty. We're running out of that block. We do still have some discounted rates left. So go ahead if you're kind of on the defense, if you want to sign up or not. We're really close to the end now. We're only about 2.5 weeks out. So before we will talk more about the Expo in just a little bit, but just so everybody knows the way today's going to work, in just a second, I'm going to introduce our co-host here. We're going to go through some content. And then at the end, we will open it up for a pure Q&A, whether it's something we talked about today or any questions you have about the space as a whole. You can ask them here and we'll answer them. Try our best to answer every single question. But the important rule is for us to answer your question, you first have to answer our question. So the question of the week this week is, what is the strangest or most interesting teacher that you've ever had? And that could be elementary, high school, college, a life teacher, however you want to answer that question for yourself, but give a little example as to why they are one of the most interesting teachers you've had. And I'm not saying best, I'm saying strangest or most interesting. And put that question, that answer in the Q&A box. If you put it in the chat box at the bottom, I'm going to miss it. So make sure you put it in the Q&A. So one last quick admin update. I'm going to quickly go over the new listings for the week, and then we'll get into it. So we got 4 new listings this week. The first one is in Wisconsin. It is 11 P&D routes at 1.85 million. This one has a high margin, 26% margin, 2 managers, 11 trucks, and it's operating 6 days a week. We have another one out of Wisconsin that's 10 P&D routes at 950,000. It again has a 18% margin, 1 manager, 11 trucks, and again, only is operating 6 days a week. So 2 good ones out of Wisconsin. The next one we've got is out of Montana, 5 P&D routes at $700,000. So a smaller size business, but a really great business, a good starter business. 22% margin. It has a manager, even though it's smaller, and it has 6 trucks with mainly new trucks and a spare as well. Again, only a 6-day work week. The last one is out of Nevada. It is 5 P&D routes at 1.35 million, another smaller one. but a 31% margin, really high there. It's really highly profitable area. It has a manager, 8 trucks, and 3 spares. And this is one where Express is looking to be integrated in the near future. So that is all of our new listings today, those 2 out of Wisconsin, the 1 in Montana, and the 1 out of Nevada. So if you have any questions on any of those, you can reach out to our team directly. We'll send you all the details. So now I would like to go ahead and introduce our co-host today. So we've got David Leland here from GroundCloud. He's the founder and a wealth of knowledge about the FedEx space. I don't want to steal any of his thunder. So David, why don't you go ahead and come on and just give a quick overview of who you are and who GroundCloud is, and we'll go ahead and get started.
You bet. Great to be on the show here today. And we can talk about the teacher thing later, but I'm the founder and the head of GroundCloud. And so real quick, if you haven't heard of us, I was a contractor, but I've been a geek all my life, but I was standing up a side business as a contractor in 2016. And I came into the space just assuming all tech and vendors were all mature. And it wasn't even a thought on my mind until I got there and started operating. And I was like, oh my goodness, it was like back to the Stone Age with technology, where I'm looking around and, guys are drawing stops on laminate maps. And this is 2016. Everyone's got Google Maps and all that. I could not believe it. So as a geek that had started previous successful software companies, I just started asking and saying, what if, I asked my fellow contractors in the station, what if there was an all-in-one system that handled all of these critical factors, like not only route optimization and turn-by-turns for drivers, but also integrated with safety and time tracking for drivers, et cetera, et cetera. And they basically just said, if you're not full of bleep, Dave, get the bleep out of here and go build that. so it was, I knew there was, something there when 2 of the 3 AOs that I was talking to literally said, can I invest in this right now? So it was literally basically a shut up and take your money. But I wasn't looking to just take the money. I was looking to, my heart has always been for contractors, because I was one. That's where my heart is. And, even today, I've had people say, with our merger with Descartes, let's just say, without being crass, I've made bank. And they're like, why are you still here? And it's because I love contractors and I love helping small business folks succeed. That's what drives me. That's my passion. So GroundCloud has become by far the largest vendor, the tech vendor in the space. We have more customers than all other competitors combined. And we are truly an all-in-one system that is the operating system for FedEx Ground service providers. We are primarily in the P&D market. However, on the line haul side, the line haul folks absolutely love our vetter, and we've just rolled out proactive safety training that's approved by FedEx for line haul drivers as well. And you never know, we might do more in that space. So really, we handle everything from, like I said, we are the operating system of the business in terms of scheduling and time tracking and, automatically optimizing your routes and managing your drivers and HR features. And we can talk about it in a bit. We are now rolling out fully integrated payroll powered by Gusto backend, which we are super excited about. It's going super well. Folks are loving it. And that's going to be a big focus of the show in Vegas here. So that's a quick intro of us. But if you're in this space or looking to get into this space, you absolutely want to be talking to us. And probably one of the biggest things that I think really testifies to how much folks love us is that we are the only vendor in the space that does not have contracts, the only one. And yet we have by far, like I said, we have more customers than everyone else, all of our competitors combined, who do have contracts. Literally every single one of our customers can walk away at any moment, but they don't, because we provide a great product and literally over-the-top customer support. And because I've always known that as a geek, we could build the best tech platform ever, but if folks can't use it, if they don't know how to use it, if they can't be successful, it's meaningless. So it was always my intention to provide the absolute top-notch customer support literally Johnny on the spot. So we don't have call centers. When you call into GroundCloud for support, we have an average wait time of less than 30 seconds. And you're speaking to a full-time GroundCloud tech who knows this industry, who knows, and most of our employees there on the team literally came from the FedEx space. So as you know, there's a lot of jargon there. There's a lot of background to work in this industry, and our team has it. So, and we've also really focused on safety. That was always something, a mission of mine right from the get-go, is that safety needs to be an integrated part of the whole platform, because it is an existential threat to service providers and and to the motor carrier as well. And so, and these are people's lives. So it's not only a key critical component of profitability, but like I said, it's an existential threat. If you blow it on safety, either you're going to take yourself out because your rates have shot through the roof, or the motor carrier is going to take you out because you're an unsafe operator. So that's why we've got all kinds of subject matter experts that I brought onto the team. We have Jerry Veras, who heads our safety team, who I always call the GOAT of safety, and he is. And so he's going to be at the show as well. So we've got some great people that you're going to want to come out to see and meet us in Vegas.
Yeah, I don't want to underemphasize, if you're getting into the P&D space, there is almost certainly something that GroundCloud can do to help you out. There's so many different ways that they're helping contractors today, and their platform's really impressive. The other thing I would say is that David just emphasized there at the end, safety being a part of your strategy, and the technology is one of the most important things, bringing Jerry and things like that, because if FedEx will have a conversation with you if your service has issues like that. There'll be conversations with the terminal, but safety issues, they'll walk you out. So it's, that's at the end of the day, that's the thing that's often the most important for FedEx. And so consequently should be for us as contractors.
100%.
Okay. So we're talking about the expo. I know we're getting excited for it. So just briefly, you've been to several of these, David. What's your favorite part of the expo? What are you looking most forward to?
Several? What are you talking about, dude? I've been to every single one, and a quick funny story. The very first expo, we're literally in the air, and I'm next to my chief operating officer, Joe Jasper. And, I've just been so excited about it. We're heading to Nashville. And I was so excited, just thinking about everything that we're doing and going to be presenting. I suddenly realized that I'd only brought my backpack with my computer and stuff. And I for some reason, I thought I had shoved my clothes into there. And I'm at 30,000 feet on the way from Minneapolis to Nashville. And I look at Joe with a dumbass smile on my face. And I said, oh my goodness, I just realized I didn't pack a single item of clothing. so Joe just, Joe's amazing. He just is he got all excited. He's like, oh, cool, we're going shopping. But anyway, it's so easy to answer that question about what do I love most about the expos. And that's always been meeting with contractors. That is the passion of my life. What fuels me is not so much dollars in the bank account. Sure, that's nice. But what fuels my soul, it's food for my soul, is when I hear how deeply we have impacted service providers in a positive way. I can't tell you how many times that folks have come up to me and just say, Dave, you don't have any idea how much you've transformed our lives and simplified our business and enabled us to be successful and more profitable. And that continues as we all know. There's been so many changes in the last number of years where it's gotten, you have to be able to roll with the changes and adapt, right? It's something that's another critical part of the mindset of operating today, is that, there's some great folks that have been doing this for 25, 30 years, but you simply cannot operate in the same way that you did back then. It's just there's been so much change, but that's why another reason why GroundCloud is here is that we are adapting to these changes and facilitating them and giving the optimum chance of success to our customers. But just continuing be able to speak with contractors all day long, whether they are with us or they are interested in being with us. But that's the part that I love. And there's just a world of, it's such a great place to meet people and learn. So if you are interested in this space, you need to be at this show.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I mean, I get to do these webinars like this all the time where I I see no one. So when we finally have the in-person events, the expo, and people from across the country, one, I get to learn from them. There's so much that you learn just from everyone being in the same room, but also just hearing people's real stories, getting to connect with people that I might have talked with, weekly on webinars, where we've had tons of calls, but actually getting to see everyone in the same room, talking about how we can continue to make this space better, how we've worked together already. Completely agree. Like this is the time during the year where I get to do that more than any other time, and just people from across the country, the energy from the expo, I can't wait. And we're so close now, which is crazy.
I know the odd thing, it's comical, but my team, when I go to events like this, they literally call me Beyonce, because it's funny because I'll tell someone, hey, I'll just walk across the room over here and I'll meet you in 2 minutes. It's like 45 minutes later, I'm still not there because people stop me, and I love talking to folks. So it's just I can't get. I brought my wife to one of the events, and she just kind of rolled her eyes and gave up after a while, because she's like, "You're like some freak celebrity here. I can't even talk to you."
Yeah, that's great.
But really, that's not why I go. I go just like I said. It's so much fun to to hear from customers, and they have such a wealth of ideas, and and they give us such great feedback. And my motto has always been, we don't accept feedback, we beg for it, right? So we that's how it's not rocket science why we're successful. We're incredibly responsive to the needs of our customers, and providing that over-the-top customer support and service, and just providing a great product, right? And that decision from the get-go to not have contracts. When I came in as a contractor, there were a number of vendors that were, they were in the FedEx space and other spaces, and they all had contracts. And I noticed that they literally started to just take customers for granted, right? Because they couldn't go anywhere. They signed up for long-term contracts, and so they seemed to almost inevitably treat them like garbage because they were stuck. So I just that sort of caused me to throw up in my mouth a bit, and I just hated that. So I said, we're not going to do that. We are. Without contracts, that puts natural pressure on our team, a good pressure to provide the best quality product and the best service. Because we know always, at any time, people can walk away for no reason whatsoever. So that's why I think that's just been a great success story of GroundCloud, is that combination of absolutely not only not taking our customers for granted, but always giving them the best that we can, and going and doing that extra mile, even if it might not impact, or their issue might not be directly caused or a question about our system. But if we can help them, hey, if we can connect them to some other folks that are going to help them succeed, we're going to do it all day long.
Yeah, that's great. So I know you can't go too in depth, and I don't want you to share too much, but give a little bit of a tease about what you guys are going to be talking about.
I'll just give all the announcements, so folks don't even go to no, just kidding. No, but really getting excited here for for the end of the month here. So just a little teaser about what we're going to be doing and showing there. We're going to be talking more about GroundCloud Pro. We've got some really cool announcements and features there. I mentioned earlier a bit about payroll. Payroll is just is going to be a huge part of what we're doing here. And literally, we are offering payroll for less money than where you can get it about anywhere else. So I mean, it's not only is it that absolutely incredible integration with the GroundCloud platform, but it's even less money. So I like to give folks no-brainers, right? This is going to be the ultimate no-brainer. It's like, wait a minute, it's fully integrated with my whole system, it's all automated, and it's less money. Let me think about this. So so we're going to really show the incredible advantages there. We'll have some folks that have been using it, talking about their experience. Obviously, time commits and is going to be a big topic. So we were the first, and we actually worked directly with FedEx on that project. And we literally it's something that I'm really proud of, that the initial testing we took from a service level that was, let's just say, by all standards unacceptable, and the day after we rolled out our time commits features to some of the initial areas with Express Volume, we took their on-time service up to about 99% plus. So it was absolutely an incredible thing that we did. And, I really think that it played a part in FedEx saying, yes, we can do this, that, the ground network can do this. And this is going to be a great success story. So I'm really, really stoked about this and the extra volume and therefore extra revenue and profits that this is going to bring to our customer base. So we've done it first, we've done it best, and it's working really well. So we'll be talking a lot about, so come see exactly how that works and how you can be even more successful and make more money with that express volume coming into your service area. We'll be talking about the new developments in Vetter, so we're going to be helping to educate folks on, most folks I think understand the new KI standards, but we're also going to be talking about, some of the things that are coming down the pike here. So, without announcing anything official, let's just say it's my firm belief that FedEx will be moving to an AI standard for Vetter technology. So we'll be talking about that and showing off some of our hardware that meets that today. So with our hardware that you're getting from GroundCloud today, it's completely future proof, so that you're going to be right there and ready to go when those new contracting standards come down. So yeah, so we'll be talking about that and a lot of other things. So that's just a little bit of a teaser, but it's going to be worth your while to hear what we have to say and announce.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the platform, but I've already seen some of it that you guys did on the Express side, and it's amazing. So that is also, I think, even if you aren't using GroundCloud, that there is tons of value in seeing and understanding what you're walking into there and why you may not be able to live without it, honestly. Okay. Now, are you guys doing anything special? Are you doing anything at your booths this year? What are you guys doing there?
Yeah, so basically, obviously we're going to have some great GroundCloud swag. We're going to, you're going to be able to meet, well, I don't know if anyone would want to meet me, but I'll be hanging around there, but we'll have
Beyonce.
Well, now I've done it. I've just dug my own grave now by saying that. So yeah, I'm already imagining what Spencer might have a special name tag made up for me. So but we've got some of our great sales team. Michelle will be there and Gary and others, and we'll have Jerry will be there, and he's the absolute GOAT. And you know what? Jerry will talk to anybody, customer or not. His passion is for safety, and that's the entire reason why the day I met him all those years ago, I wanted him on my team. He's just the bomb. So he is an absolute gem of a person, of character, but also of knowledge. So he is the absolute expert in terms of creating and maintaining a safety culture, which is critical. And it's not about maximizing GroundCloud revenue. This is about maximizing safety out there for everyone, because that it's just a win for everyone. Yeah. So yeah, we'll also be we also have some giveaways. We're going to be giving away some Vetter, some of that new Vetter hardware that we talk about, like the GroundCloud 4K. What we won't be giving away is any contracts, because we don't do them. So see what I did there? But yeah, we'll have some other prizes and some other fun things too. So come on and stop by. The GroundCloud swag, it goes very quickly, because folks love us. They love what we stand for. They love what we do. They love the brand. So they love to whether it's grab a hat or a mug or a tumbler or something. But they go fast, so you might want to come early.
That's awesome. I'll be there. I get the benefit of being in the vendor hall nearly before anyone else. So perfect. All right. Well, it was about time to open it up for Q&A. Again, you can ask questions, anything about GroundCloud, anything. It could be questions about anything, FedEx space, logistics in general. We'll answer it. We'll try to get to all of them. But before we get to that, David, we have the question of the day, which if anybody missed it at the beginning, it is, what is your strangest or most interesting teacher, any point in your life? and any quick story about why they are your strangest or most interesting teacher. So, David, I'll let you answer first.
I got two of them. So the first thing I thought was the strangest one was in shop class in 8th grade, where literally while the teacher was talking about safety, cut his pinky off on the table saw. So that was
memorable. Okay.
That was memorable. I mean, it definitely made an impact for safety because when blood is squirting all over the place, it's like it tends to sink in a bit. But my favorite teacher was in my high school physics teacher, Mr. Grimm, who just I was born with geek blood in me. Let's not fool anyone here, but he just made physics a lot of fun and really really sort of cemented that interest in science and technology in me. So I went on to get a graduate degree in electrical engineering from the University of Minnesota. And just, like I said, I've always been passionate about technology, but also how it can improve the lives of folks and help them be successful.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Okay. Well, mine's an English teacher from high school, Mr. Chopson. He's just a eccentric, quirky guy, but the couple of the things he did. So whenever we would have to learn passages in class and recite them, we would have to go to the front of the room, and he had like a 3-foot stump, an actual tree stump that you would have to stand on while you were reciting it. So a little bit
of stump speech.
Yeah, exactly. But a little bit of fear because you're pretty high up. And then another of just the weird things he did. If it was ever anybody's birthday, he would make the entire class whisper, sing happy birthday, like really creepily to that person. And I remember that really well, always will. It's just one of the things.
That's funny.
Creepy happy birthday whispers. Yeah. But he's a great teacher. But yeah, it's just very memorable, random things he did. Okay, so we're going to get to the Q&A. Remember, you can pop it in at any time. First one here is from Tim. So his teacher was Don Miller, Virginia Tech history. He would get standing ovations in midterm. That is memorable and interesting for me because I don't think I ever clapped for a teacher. So that sounds pretty great, Tim. So he's purchasing a CSA where GroundCloud is already being used, and he just wants to know what's the best way for him to make sure that the transfer goes without a hitch, that there's no problems. Like, what's the process there for starting if somebody already has GroundCloud?
You bet. And we literally do this every day of the week. So, just because we have quite literally thousands of service providers on with us, and just, as the natural progression of businesses changing hands, that is, like I said, it's a daily occurrence for us. So it can happen one of two ways. If it's a carve out, basically it would look like the new owner that's taking a part of that, some of those routes there, creates a new GroundCloud account and works with our onboarding team, and we will literally walk you right through that process. If, on the other hand, it's not a carve out and it's just literally taking over a complete business, it's even simpler because they simply just the owner would create the new owner as a fleet manager on there, and then once they do that, there's literally a means of designating a fleet manager once created as the new account controller. So they then would own that account. They would merely change the credit card information for billing, and that's it. They're good to go. So obviously we still want to talk to you, call into support and set up an onboarding session. Even though everything's all running, we want you to be successful. This is critically important to us. So we want to get you the training and the introductions to the systems and answer your questions and get you on a path to success.
Okay. And
so bottom line, talk to us. Just call into GroundCloud support and or either that or sales. Both teams are motivated to get you successful. So just contact us and we'll walk you through it, whichever the case is.
Is the process similar if they are, let's say they're buying from someone who doesn't have GroundCloud or anything and they're trying to start new, do they still just call into support, similar process?
Yeah, exactly. I would, if they're brand new, I would call into sales because, they're just either way, but sales, that's where we have like our onboarding teams are on that side of things where we will get them set up, get them their questions, answers, and schedule those onboarding sessions.
Perfect. All right. I think that's your answer, Tim. If you have any further questions on that, it sounds like the GroundCloud team's there to answer them. So should be pretty easy to get started from there. Okay, next one here is from David, Mr. Wanamaker teaching world history, who often really was in a different world than the one happening in the class. So if you could just give like kind of a quick overview of the different service areas that GroundCloud provides. He was like, payroll was new to me, so I know that there's a ton. So you don't have to go too in depth.
How much time do we have, Josh? Because
Exactly.
this could literally take a while. But think of it this way. I think the best way to think of it is like, and I've said this before. Forgive me if folks that have heard this, but as a service provider, there are three legs of the stool. It's the old analogy that says if any one of those legs comes out, the whole thing is tipping over. And that is safety, compliance, and operations. So those are the three pillars of your business success: safety, compliance, and operations. So GroundCloud as a whole, as the entire platform, incorporates many features that fall into each of those three pillars. So we are the only vendor that is approved across the board from FedEx in safety and compliance and in operations. So you have the vetter requirement, for example. So we are one of a few vendors that are approved to supply that service to you, and we are the only ones to do so without contract. And so, but that's all integrated with the rest of your platform, with safety. We are also approved for qual certs. So you have to get your drivers trained by a certified trainer. And so that's most of you have already done that with your existing drivers. But as new drivers come on board, they need to be onboarded by a certified trainer. So we have the absolute best qual cert program out there that Jerry Veras created all the content and with rave reviews. So and by the way, those are now down to 4 days instead of 5. So that's just to shave off a bit of the training and travel expense. But now, so that gives, but we go one step, many steps further with that qual cert. We don't merely create, driver trainers. We create safety specialists that we give them all of the tools and the documentation to create and maintain that safety culture and to work with the drivers, not just for defensive driving, like some of the other vendors focus on only. We are also focusing on workers' comp issues and driver safety issues and dealing with dogs and backing and strategies of how to park the vehicle to minimize incidents and many other things like that. So that starts the safety culture foundation. But then we're also approved by FedEx that you have to have an ongoing safety program. And so our proactive safety training is built into the app that then delivers that content twice a week in small video segments, just 3 to 4 minutes a piece twice a week. So drivers don't mind it. It's very compelling content. So that's reinforcing that safety culture and content. And then with our vetter system, we have the reactive coaching that's automated. So that's a huge part of our end-to-end safety profile there. Then with operations, that includes things like HR, driver management. We have features that you can upload your driver med files, your med cards up to our system. And then when they log into the driver app, bam, it pulls it down. So if they ever get stopped by law enforcement, they can show that digital copy, which is accepted by law enforcement. And so we are optimizing routes. We have dispatch management. We have, different ways of optimizing your routes that are, and the critical thing is there with especially with P&D, it's sort of like, organized chaos in the sense that you never know what exactly is going to happen that morning at dispatch or during the day. You've got drivers calling off. You got trucks breaking down. You got, FedEx system goes down. You've got, it's a new bag of challenges every day, which if you have our system, you're going to be able to roll with the punches because we've accounted for all of these different things that can happen in your world. And our system will accommodate that and get your drivers operational. Like we've even have a means of scanning in boxes. So we've even had cases where terminals, their tech has gone down completely, and but service providers on with us were literally able to scan boxes, build routes, get a load order, load their trucks up and get out the door like literally 30 minutes past a normal dispatch, where the other service providers in the station, their jaws are hitting the floor saying, what the bleep did you just do? How did you get out the door? And yet they are. And we also have things like if scanners fail, we can get that data and get them into reports that get them into FedEx. So we have HR features, not only for your driver management, but we mentioned full payroll as well. We have on the compliance side, all of to make sure all of your safety is done, all of your veteran KIs are done, your time tracking is done, and now we also have an optional thing called GroundCloud Pro, and that's really all about optimizing your profitability. So that includes things like the major piece there is something called Route Stats, which is the best business intelligence that's ever been created for our industry that will directly show you where you have opportunities to increase your bottom line. Like we show you directly where, if you increased hours on route for these particular days, you can instantly do these what ifs to see, oh my goodness, if I do that, I'll be able to pay my drivers more because my profitability will be higher. And it's a win for them, and it's a win for me. So we've got some great stories of folks that have really upped their profitability with Route Stats. And then we have something called with GroundCloud Pro, something called payroll automation. And that is a critical piece that, we're having more and more folks saying that is as great as Route Stats is, the combination of payroll automation in GroundCloud Pro with the new payroll is the true killer app. It's the true game changer because it enables you to incentivize your drivers in really creative ways, but not create all of the brain damage at the end of the week where you have to work with 20 different spreadsheets and trying to figure out and have that work of like how many packages did they deliver, how many, what was their hours on road, and how do I then mash all of that data, that operations data that the driver did, into something that can go into a payroll system, which is really based on number of hours, right? That's not an easy task. So payroll automation automates all of that. And as you can imagine, that's now feeding and flowing directly into GroundCloud Payroll. So it is a total game changer because now you can incentivize your drivers to increase their productivity and pay them for it, which is going to increase your bottom line. So we are really excited about that. There's some other really cool features of GroundCloud Pro. We'll talk more about that at the show. But in the end, there's very little that we don't do. It's like I said, we are the operating system of service provider businesses.
That's I think that is the shortest possible answer you could give because it's so much. There's just so much there. So I think David was the one who asked that question. I think that should be sufficient to get you everything.
Yeah, and there's like a million other things I didn't even mention, maintenance, vehicle maintenance stuff, and a million other things. I just don't have time. But come by, talk to us, look at our website and talk to our sales team. We'll give you a full demo, and even existing customers. I would encourage you to do that because there are many that will say things exactly like that, like, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize GroundCloud did that, right? So, we try to get marketing emails out just to let people know the new things we've done. But, let's face it, we're all in a busy world and sometimes emails don't get read. So sometimes we have challenges just informing our own customer base what we've done. So, call in and just say, hey, what's new? Tell me what's interesting out there. What could I be missing? And we'd be more than happy to share it with you and give you some demos or some videos of what we've built.
I'll give you a chance to talk a little bit more about one of them because we had another question. So Trey said, I was homeschooled, so there's not an answer that doesn't get me into trouble when I'm talking about my teachers. But he was could you talk a little bit more specifically about how fleet tracking works in GroundCloud and anything on the roadmap for the fleet side of the product?
Well, yeah, fleet tracking, you can think about it. That's sort of, that's something that we did on day one. So what we do is based upon and we actually have multiple redundant systems. So first of all, we with the driver app, and we are fully iOS and Android. You know, that's something that still a lot of people don't realize, that we are full parity. You know, you want your drivers to run on Android or iOS, whether it's, you know, tablet. We always recommend that tablet form factor because we know it's safer when you put phone-sized devices in drivers' hands. They tend to drive with them in their hands as much as you tell them not to. But tablets that are mounted are legally considered part of the dashboard. But really, those devices, what we are doing, we are literally transmitting their location and telematics data, like their speed, once per second. Nobody else does this, even to this day. Even though we started that, you know, when we launched more than 7 years ago, we had that in there from day one. Nobody else does that because it's very expensive to do that. We are so the bottom line is so that you can track where your drivers are in real time. So at once per second intervals. So it's not where they were 30 seconds ago. And you know, if they're driving 60 miles an hour, they're half a mile away. So it makes a difference. So we have, and not only that, we store that data for a minimum of 90 days. In other words, you can then, we store all of that. And if you think about it, you know, we have something like, I don't know, 60, 70,000 vehicles on a given day that we are tracking all of their fleet location data at once per second intervals. In other words, that is an absolute crap ton of data. It is torrents of data coming into our cloud. And so that's very expensive for us to do that. And then to show, but there have been so many benefits to our customers because of that. Like, for example, you can scroll back in time in our portal up to 90 days to see exactly what went down. Where did your driver stop? How long did they stop for? What speed were they doing in going through this road? I can't tell you how many drivers have been exonerated when they were accused, sometimes by law enforcement, sometimes by neighborhood residents, of driving like a crazy maniac through their neighborhood. But then we have the data to prove, lo and behold, no, they were right at the speed limit, or they were, you know, and again, even to law enforcement, where, you know, we've been able to get drivers out of tickets where, I don't know, just some backwoods territory where the local police force needed to make quota. I don't know what happened, but, you know, we have exonerated drivers. So, and then we also, if you have our Vetter system, we are also transmitting location data off of those. So obviously that's also incredibly important if you are a line haul customer, see where your tractors are at any moment. And, you know, we are also, you know, working some other really cool features into that. So bottom line is with fleet tracking, you have full redundancy and again, unique features that only we are doing. So we are the only ones that are doing it at once per second frequency. And we are the only ones, as far as I know, that store that data for at least 90 days because it provides so many benefits, also including disputed deliveries. It's a real thing. It's like, you know, when you're able to prove and show that your driver was right here and stopped at this location for, you know, 2 minutes, that's pretty conclusive proof that your driver was there. And, you know, critically, FedEx has accepted that. And we also now plot even that scanner data where they open and closed the stop from the scanner. So we also show that on that same map. So all of that gives you critical forensic data because it's not an if, it's a when. You will be you know, accused of something, your drivers will be at some point. So to have a system that has a crap ton of data that, you know, literally stored everything of what went down, that is your best friend because that is an objective source of truth to get you to the answers that you need.
Yeah, perfect. All right, next one here. He said his teacher, his mom was his health teacher. Enough said on that. So, but his
little birds and the bees there, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds miserable. So he's new into the space, looking at line haul technology. So could you just briefly again, one, touch on how you guys are currently servicing line haul? And I know you can't say too much, but just, you know, what are the types of things you're thinking about for the future of how you could service line haul?
Wow. Well, don't want to broadcast too much to our competitors. It's funny. It's, you know, it's like I do have to be careful because I don't know. I'm old as dirt. So I remember when Steve Jobs was directly competing against Microsoft Windows back in the late 90s. But when he would go on stage at, to give a big presentation, there was one time he said, "Hey, Redmond, start your photocopiers." In other words, like, he was getting a little bit annoyed that everything that Apple did, like Microsoft was copying. So I don't want to give too much away, for the sake of our competitors. But it is. But so right now we have the best vetter, bar none, for line haul. I mean, you have to have them in your tractors. So why not deal with a company that people love and love to work with? I mean, if you just look on the Route Consultant Facebook forum, I mean, if you haven't done so, just see what folks say about our competitors and better. It's just, I don't know if I've ever once seen a positive comment about any of the other vendors. I'm very proud to say I see almost universally very positive comments on GroundCloud. It's like insanely rare that anyone has something untoward to say, and usually it's only because of a misunderstanding. So we have the best vetter, bar none, which you need anyway. And again, we're also now fully approved for line haul safety. So we create all of that content ourselves. It's kind of shocking to me that I found out that most of the other vendors, if not all of them, are not even creating their own content. They're just basically, buying generic content from who knows where and just sort of slapping it out there and throwing it out there. I don't think that's there. There's some very specific things about the FedEx space that we know and love and have been there from the beginning. This is our home. This is our bread and butter. I think that's another big difference between us and other vendors. It's like FedEx is our world. This is what we do, right? And whereas other vendors, they're in, 500 other spaces. And so the FedEx space is just whatever, it's just, it seems as a result, either they're a little bit more ignorant on it, or they just, it's not that big to them. I don't know what, but we create all of that content ourselves, and it's excellent. And feedback we get from drivers is also very positive as well. So, as far as the other things that we'll be expanding into, for sure, we'll definitely make our payroll compatible with line haul operations. So that's not something that we have today, but it is something that we will absolutely do. And just to be, we have a lot of line haul folks that have had such a great experience with our other line haul offerings that they're asking us to do more. So, we're thinking about it.
Perfect. Yeah. That's all I would expect you to say. Yeah. Stay tuned for more for all of you.
Yeah.
In line haul space. Yeah. Perfect. Next one here is from James. So he said his high school chemistry teacher was awesome, weird, but awesome. Focused on teaching us to think, not memorize. So again, I know that a lot of this you'll probably save for the expo, but he just knows that you have a unique vantage point on the FedEx Ground integration. So are there any high level things you can say? He said he's hearing a lot of conjecture about how we'll need to run DRO, let FedEx run our sequencing, and what learnings do you have so far?
Well, I don't, here's the big challenge of letting DRO doing sequencing is that let's just assume for sake of argumentation that DRO has the best sequencing and route optimization that the world has ever seen. Let's just say that. Of course, I don't believe that, but I'm just saying for the sake of argument, let's just go with that. The issue is that DRO is doing its route optimization and sequencing at like 2:00 in the morning. And the problem, though, is that we all know is that come dispatch time, that's not the same story, right? There's been another, there's been late packages that come in. There's been a late trailer that's come in, and or something that's missing. It is never the same as what is, and it's to be fair to DRO, it's like it's only gotten a partial picture when it does its thing. Whereas you need to have a system that can absolutely handle those time commits at time of dispatch, right? And so that's where we come in. And so because now at the time, right at dispatch time, we now have an accurate, well, mostly accurate, we have a mostly accurate picture of, let's just say, well, definitely much more accurate picture of what's actually on that truck than what DRO had 6 to 8 hours earlier, okay? So then the other thing is there are also things that are called misscans. If you're new to the space, you might not know what that is, but we have FedEx package handlers that are loading the trucks, most of them. If you can back up to the belt, they're loading your trucks. Well, this might sound shocking, but there is human error involved, right? So not every box that is placed on the truck has been correctly scanned. And to be fair to those package handlers, sometimes there's problem with the hardware. Sometimes there's problem with the network. All of that to say is that there is an error ratio that is non-trivial about what has actually been scanned onto your truck. So years ago, we absolutely pioneered accounting for that, and working with the stations, we are able to take in that, and we completely pioneered this. Some of our competitors have tried to copy this, and but to limited effect. But again, we're the ones that are pioneering. We're the innovators here. But we pioneered like taking that, what's called the no van scan report, and this is even after dispatch, where we get that comes in automatically from the station into our cloud, and then even as the drivers are en route to their service area, we do yet another optimization, because now we've gotten an even better picture of truly what's on that vehicle. So you need all of that happening in an automated way. And that's exactly what GroundCloud does with automations and those time commits, so that managers and drivers can totally see which of their stops are time commits, and we will route them taking that into consideration so that they will hit those time commits, and you can account for that great, because it is a much more complex picture as it was without time commits, right? We've been used to pick up windows, and we, from the get-go, our driver app has done a great job of alerting drivers when those pickup windows are closing. Well, we are doing the same thing, not only from the get-go, optimizing those routes such that they've got the optimal chance of success of hitting those windows and getting everything delivered in a timely way and in an efficient way, therefore a most profitable way. And then also accommodating and taking into account those misscans, getting those into the mix. So you need everything together. And so that's why, I can't even imagine how service providers can do all of that if they don't have our platform. There's always going to be someone out there that says, you know what, when we were kids, we walked, 50 miles to school, uphill both ways in the driving snow, and I don't want to change it. This is the way we've done it 50 years ago, and I ain't changing. God bless you, man, but I just don't see how you're going to survive. It's because the rules on the field keep changing, right? It's FedEx's playing field, and they have the right. It's their field. They can change the rules, and they are. Now, I would encourage everyone to look at this as a great opportunity, right? We're seeing, 20, 30%, in some cases even more volume injection because of Express. So this is something to get excited about, but at the same time, you better have a platform that is absolutely committed to that and can handle it like GroundCloud. Well, I think that's the only one that exists that does that. So you've got one choice, but again, when you come to us, you have no contract. You can try us out. You're not going to lose anything. Even tablets you can get for free. So you can get into using us at no CapEx expense whatsoever.
And they do have another choice, and it's to do it on their own, and it's not a good choice, because I've seen and already worked with and talked to contractors trying to figure out Express on their own with the DRO tools that they have without anyone else, and it's tough. And so
yeah.
So okay. Yeah, do you have something else to say there?
Yeah, I was just going to question that. I would really question that, because I know that there's some out there that just thinks, well, I could save a few bucks if I don't pay GroundCloud, and then we'll just quote make it work. We'll just slug through it. But if you can pay $5 to get a process that in the end is going to make you 50, I'd say pay the $5 if it's going to make you 50. Saving on the other hand, saving that $5 then means you've okay, maybe at best you break even, or maybe you make 10 instead of 50. But from a profit optimization stance, you're going to make way more money if you're on our platform. Period.
For sure. Okay, one more quick question from John. So first, his geometry teacher loved smacking the side of his metal desk during tests, and then stopped when someone jumped and fell out of their chair one day. So so he had some tablets that are GroundCloud managed that they didn't update back in the spring because they weren't using them. Can they still get them updated onto the new OS? Should they just
Yes, they can. Absolutely. Just call into GroundCloud support and we have a procedure for that. Worst case scenario, like something completely went sideways. If they were to ship them to our office, we will get them all squared away. There's occasionally some things that unfortunately require hands-on in order to like completely reset them. It's rare, but even if that happens, then we'll even pay to ship them back to them. So just contact GroundCloud support and we'll take care of you right away.
Perfect. And now I know, meet you at the expo, call GroundCloud support, but there are some other opportunities for them to interact with GroundCloud. Could you talk a little bit about the user forums you guys have across
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. So, user forums were born out of, I started seeing, a lot of folks saying, boy, your webinars are great and, the videos are great, but sometimes I just want to be able to, get away from it all just for whether it's a number of hours or maybe even a day where I could just focus on learning how to use the GroundCloud platform more effectively. Because let's face it, like I even failed to fully describe everything that we do in like, I don't know how long I was going on for, like 5 minutes or whatever. We do even much more than that. So it is I will agree, it's a non-trivial task to truly master every aspect of the GroundCloud platform. So that's why we created user forums, so that you could go and they are completely free. We give you lunch, and then we just literally go through the different parts of the platform that you're not used to using, and just to see, hey, here are these other parts of the platform that are included for free. It's like, you're already paying for it. So, and by the way, we have not raised prices since we launched in 2017. And, in this inflationary environment, that's saying something. Not only have we not increased prices, but, our functionality has like improved by 100-fold in terms of like what we are offering now. For that 2017 price, it's so in other words, the value of what you're getting in GroundCloud literally increases on a daily basis. The challenge is keeping up with, all of these new things that we have, like GroundCloud Pro. There's a lot to it. There's payroll now. There's, even things like, payroll and scheduling and the time commits and all of these other things coming together. So the user forums are a fantastic opportunity just to take, 3/4 of a day to focus on that. They are led by great members of our team, like Peter and Michelle, and they just are there to not only show you exactly how to use these other parts of our platform that you might not be currently using, but also even showing you things that to better make use of our platform, even for the parts that you are using. And there's time enough to work even one-on-one and answer your individual questions. So think of it as like a tech support spa day where you are pampered in an environment where you're not continuously distracted and you can focus on, and these are, the results of this, of those folks that have gone there, they have almost unanimously said it's been game-changing in terms of really being able to get tremendous more value. Like they already saw the value of the GroundCloud platform, even though they were, say, only using 10% of it. That's the crazy thing about our platform. Even if you use just 10% of everything that we do, you're already getting a hell of a value. But how much better is it when you're using, 80, 90% of the platform at no additional, not 1 cent more? So we want to get everyone up and getting every last penny of value out of our system that we can provide. Again, it's because we are obsessed with the success of our customers, and using all of the different facets is going to make their life easier. It's going to get them more automated, and bottom line is increase that bottom line.
Yeah, and we put the link in the chat for all the locations. So this is not just one spot; they're happening across the country. So If you're in the area, you already have GroundCloud, it's a no-brainer. There's no reason not to go find out how to get more value of what you already have. Like
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, we even have we welcome folks, even though like our next one, I believe, is in the first week of August in Minneapolis. But all the time, every user forum we've had people that will fly in from other areas just because it's a great opportunity. It's something that it's a great way to have an extended Q&A period and really to learn. Bring your managers. There's no cost to it whatsoever outside of if you had any travel costs, but we'll feed you lunch, and I promise you it is worth your time.
Perfect. All right. Well, that's all we have time for today, David. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the expo in a couple of weeks. And hopefully we will see all of you there as well. And we'll all get to meet in person and hang out a couple of days in Vegas.